What's up, guys? We're back again. What's the tea? It is Monday, July 7th. We are going to do another full day of hanging out with me, letting me talk a little, share my thoughts about my prep, life, stoicism, 4th of July. I probably won't talk about the 4th too much. I didn't do anything, but like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, make sure you're caught up on all the other videos that have been posted. I am off from training today, so we're just going to take you through an off day. Actually hit my newest prep low weight, 242.8. I am going to check in with Dom here momentarily. I just like to come outside and get into the sunlight, get into the outside air before I do that. Most mornings, if I don't have a check-in, I'll get a little bit of a walk-in just to get my mind right for the day, but I feel good. I woke up ready today. No snoozing the alarm, straight out of bed. Ripped my sheets and pillowcase off, threw it in the washer. Am sweating more, so I'm having to wash my bedding more frequently, which is good. Sweating's a good thing in prep. It means your metabolism is cranking. It is annoying having to do so much laundry, but we win some, we lose some. So gonna check in with Dom, going to get my pre-cardio stuff done as far as supplements, and then head up to Fit Lab to do 45 minutes on the stairs. And then I'm also going to cold plunge and sauna today since it's an off day from training. And I have a client I'm training in person down at Muscle Factory mid-morning. So we'll take you along for the ride today. We'll show you some meals. The food is pretty low. I'll try to touch on the macros and calories and all that with each meal. But we're going to have ourselves a day and get ready for a leg day tomorrow. All right, we are off. Check-ins are sent. Let's look at the pool. There'll be a waterfall going soon. Walking through the parking garage. Ooh, I gotta catch this gate. Check-ins are sent. Dom had asked if I had already done cardio yet. I said no, I was on the way. He pulled cardio and told me just to do an abs and calves workout, do some posing, which I was already going to pose anyway. I always pose with my cardio, so coaching on the fly. I can promise you he doesn't do that normally, but we are getting closer to a show, so those on the fly adjustments are more common the closer to a show you get. But I think that brought something to my mind about on-the-fly adjustments like that and the way him and I work together. I'm a full-time bodybuilder. Like I coach, I run all my schedules. You know, my time is my time. No one on earth owns a single minute of my time. I make my schedule, so he knows that I can pull cardio. He did ask if I'd already done it because, you know, maybe I had, but you know, if you're wanting coaching like that, you have to also understand that, or if you're a coach watching this, you know, there's a lot of clients I have that I wouldn't be able to even ask them that because they work a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5, and it's like they might have already been sending their check-in from the treadmill or the Stairmaster. So rather than even put that stress on them of like, do you have cardio today? They're just gonna go through with the cardio. So I think that's a very advanced coaching style. I also think the type of client and the life they live is gonna be, you know, that's gonna be taken into account. Also up to the level of the client. Like I'm getting ready for a pro qualifier later this year. You know, if it's your first show or your second show, probably not prudent that you have on-the-fly coaching like that, because you're focused on just getting through the prep 100% without deviating or missing cardio or missing food or any of that. So I just thought that was something I should touch on, because, and that hasn't happened too frequently this prep, where he's, you know, messaged me right away and said, have you done cardio, and then pulled it. So abs, calves, and posing. Large reason too is I need to start driving. As of today, I'm a little over 4 weeks out for my Arizona State Championships. We had recently pulled cardio for 5 days. We added it back in yesterday for a day. I hit a new low today. Not sure if that's the reason why. It's just how it went. But we pulled cardio completely. Just did my step count, which for me is just 40 minutes a day of direct walking. And we also pulled stimulants. So Clen did stay in, but all caffeine, and not just pre-cardio caffeine. No caffeine at all. Pulled oral yohimbine. And my body really responded to that. First day without stims, I took 2 naps, slept 9 hours that night, still felt super tired the next day, slept 9 hours again. By day 4 and 5 of no stims, I started to get some light headaches. They weren't bad. I found actually by the second day, by upping my magnesium dose even more, I take 800 milligrams a day, but I upped it to like 1100. The headaches went away, and today's day 7 without stims, and I mean, all things considering, I feel really good. I don't feel groggy. My mind feels clear. To be honest, I only slept probably 5 hours, which is a good night for me. 6 is great. If I get more than that, it's just extra credit to me and how my body recovers. But stimulants are very popular, and I'm not even someone who I think abuses them, truthfully. I'm very cognizant of my intake. What was happening, I think, though, is it's hot in Arizona, and I just like cold beverages. So I just always have a iced coffee or a cold brew. And, you know, my apartment that I live in has a commercial coffee machine and a cold brew tap, so I have access to it full time. And I think I was just getting a little carried away with how much of that I was sipping on throughout the day while working. But I don't do energy drinks, pre-workouts. If I have stimulants, it's always under 200 milligrams of caffeine. I usually do a 200 milligram tab of caffeine pre-cardio at the time. So even that little bit was enough. Plus, you know, PEDs are higher. The CNS just gets tapped. You're in overdrive and you don't really realize it. I felt the fatigue kind of fall off, and I felt myself get out of that fight or flight state. You know, that feeling when you've just had too many stimulants and you're kind of like, your traps feel like they're in your ears. That's a lot of what I was feeling. I just kind of was overlooking it. So that was our big change that allowed me to make progress last week. The scale was also starting to go the other way. So I had been down to 244, but I was starting to go north again, back up to 247, 248. And you could see the inflammation on my body. So it was a good call by him. And it's something for people listening to take note of. Would you actually do that? I know caffeine is, some people swear they can't live without their coffee. And look, I love coffee, but if your coach told you to pull all stimulants, would you do it? Let me know in the comments what you think about that, and if you're the type of client that would actually follow orders. I think I have a lot of clients who would fight me on it, if I'm honest. And I get it. Trust me, I wasn't, stoked about it, but I'm a client. I have a coach for a reason. He saw something that he thought would make me better. He made the call, and it worked. We didn't touch food, so it's not like there was anything else. All we did was reduce out put my pulling cardio, rest, and pull the stimulants. So sometimes it's not about grinding more and more and more. And with my body, actually, this prep, I'll talk about that more in this today or another video. Like, no two preps are the same. My body is there's a certain threshold. I'm noticing that if we push too hard, I actually just stop responding and go the other way. So it's very much push and pull. That's why we're doing such frequent updates. It's Monday. I checked in on Saturday. Before that, I checked in on Thursday. A lot of check-ins right now. I send post-workout pics twice every 5 days, post-push and post-pull. So, there's a lot of feedback being sent. And again, I live a lifestyle where I can do all that. Some people, that are bodybuilding, that are watching this, don't have that luxury. If you work a 9 to 5 and you got kids, sports, practices, games, you're probably not going to be able to do all that. Maybe you can, but I know probably back when I was firefighting and had a normal job, I couldn't do these things. I couldn't bodybuild the way I bodybuild now. So it's just something to keep in mind. Doesn't mean you can't have a successful prep. I prep a lot of people who aren't full-time bodybuilders and don't have total control of their schedule, and they get in shape, place well, win, all that. So about to be at Fit Lab to knock out this little abs and cardio, or abs and calves rounds, and then it's back home, meal one, and then getting my meals and stuff ready to head down to Muscle Factory, which is about a 30-minute drive for me. So I'll definitely have to prep, take meals with me, take clothes, because I plan on doing posing rounds and a little bit of I have a mobility workout that I do from Danny on my off days. So I do that too after I train my client, and I will sweat. So I probably go through like 3 to 5 shirts a day at this point. I'm going to push the cold plunge sauna till later. It's not uncommon, especially in prep, for me to go to the gym 2 or 3 times a day, just because that's where the recovery stuff is up here at Fit Lab. But let's get this done. I'll see you for meal one. Back in the kitchen. Meal one. Already got the bison, 2 eggs, spinach. I actually forgot to cook the spinach, so it went on top. Sometimes you just forget things. So I have been using Rice and Grinds by Pride Supplements. JP was out of stock on the USA side, so I needed to re-up. So I tried this company. I've had samples before. No code, just giving my honest review. It's pretty solid. It's a lot grittier than Cream of Rice or the Elevate brand. But I've found a way to make it that's actually pretty good. So you hear the water running, that's I'm thawing some shrimp. So it's in a strainer, but I actually microwave the water that I put in the Cream of Rice. So I've got my amount weighed out here, 85 grams of carbs, which is going to be 105 grams of dry powder weight. The blueberry muffin is the bomb flavor. I prefer the finer, so JP's, especially in the off season when I eat higher volume. Right now my carbs aren't that high, so it's not too big a deal. The grittiness anyway, but I'm not a big fan of the grittiness if I have to eat a lot of volume. So Green Dragon. So no calories. I'm just consistent with my use. I really only have it on this meal and then one of my other meals. Just a quick drizzle like that. That's all I use. So what I will do is pour some in, keep the rest over here. Quick little stir. Back in the microwave for 30 seconds. Bring you with me. We're gonna cook that for 30 seconds. Salt my meal while I wait. Half teaspoon of pink sea salt on every meal. Very key. Again, quick stir. This is what it looks like. So that shrimp's thawed out. We'll cook that in the air fryer after this meal. Quick stir, and now it is ready to eat, but I'll do something different. Going to take my blueberries, the amount that I have, which is 80 grams. And then I actually put it in the freezer. After I put cinnamon on it, so. Quick little dash of cinnamon. Cancel. Quick little stir to get the blueberries and the cinnamon in the heat, and then it goes in the freezer. I find that eating it kind of cooled down, or I've even let it sit in there for like a half hour before to make it really frozen. It calms the, or it counters the grittiness. If you like the grit, then you'll really like this. If you've already had it, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I am more of a fine cut guy. So I eat the bison and the eggs, and then I have the cream of rice after. It's like a dessert. So we've got to get a couple meals ready to take down to train with my client. Let me pull up the macros for this meal. They may be on the screen if I get to that level of editing. They may not be, but I will verbalize them for you. Non-training day total, we're just under 3,000 calories, so 2,905. And all this stuff is, you know, it's not an exact numbers. You know, you can't have everything be pinpoint. That's not bodybuilding. It's there and it's pretty accurate, but nothing is 100%. So this meal specifically, why does it not show me the fucking totals? We're looking at 52 grams of protein, carbs around 95, and then fats are, with the eggs and the bison,
around 29. I don't count the protein from other sources of food if it's not a direct, complete source. So, you know, the protein in the cream of rice or whatever it breaks down to, I don't count that towards my total. But that's meal one. This might be one of my only meals with fat today, actually. No, I have one more, or I have a couple. But fat's fairly low across the day, 59 grams. Total carbs, 180. Total protein, 396. My app is factoring in all the protein, so it's not 396 grams direct. It's probably less than that. I could total it out, but it's not a lot of food. You know, you got to figure in that at one point, my non-training day was a little over 5,000 calories. So to be down below, you know, 20 or at 2,900 is a significant drop. So if you're watching this and it's like, wow, he gets to eat a lot of food, it's like, it's all relative. I have hunger, it's present. I have food focus. Things that I usually don't care about are catching my eye in the grocery store or in public or on my Instagram feed or whatever. But you know, contest prep is not meant to be sustainable. It is a restrictive period. I love how my food tastes. I put effort into it. I like spices and herbs and all that, but at the end of the day, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of variety to it, especially, you know, as you get into the last 4 weeks of a prep. Well, this is the last 4 weeks of my first leg of the prep. You know, I'm 7 weeks, 3 days out from North Americans, but at this point, it's pretty straightforward. So you're gonna have what some might call cravings, but it's really just interest, because, you know, you're not that you're bored, not that I'm bored with the foods I'm eating. It's just heightened sensitivity. Taste buds are there, are higher. So, you know, even this cream of rice, if I would have tried this one by Pride in the heart of the off season, I probably would have been vomiting because of the grittiness, because that's where I was at in terms of pushing food. That's the only reason I got into JP's cream of rice, was because it's so much easier volume-wise to get in 150 grams of carbs with a fine powder like that than it is from, you know, the 500 grams of jasmine rice I was having. So all just things to share, point out along the way, but gonna hammer this meal out, and then I will get a couple other meals ready. We'll show you those, and then we're off to Muscle Factory to train a client and pose and work and do my mobility work and just keep the day chugging. All right, so this is the finished product. I left it in there a little longer. This will be bomb, kind of like a frozen treat. We got 2 meals ready to go. 8 ounces chicken, 100 grams jasmine rice, 50 grams green beans, which are buried down in there, and then the shrimp we just cooked, 10 ounces of that, and there's green beans under there, if you can see, 50 grams there too. Both have been salted. We come over here. I got my Leviathan GI support, which I take before a few meals. A day, 6 caps total. Code Stiles 10 at checkout. I've been using this product for 4 years. Very good. My digestive enzymes, I have one of these, 1 capsule before every meal. Cap of glutamine, 1 gram I have before each meal. Extra shirt, a couple waters on top of a half gallon of water here that I'll take. And then I have loved this Southwest hot mustard from Walmart, the Great Value brand, for years. I don't really use it outside of a prep setting. In fact, I don't actually, but it's very key in prep, especially because I eat my food cold. So it helps it go down. It's cheap, it's good, low calorie. All right, let's go. Back again. We have meal 4 here. 8 ounces chicken, 100 grams jasmine rice, 50 grams green beans with a little Southwest mustard and some salt. Trained my client, did my mobility work, and did my posing. Had to run a couple other errands on the way home. Hit Trader Joe's to grab some pineapples, some blueberries, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I get my salmon from a meal prep company. I just pick it up every week. It's called Eat Clean. Very good company if you're local. They do deliveries, but I live so close. I just pop in, grab what I need for the week, and that's how I do salmon. Costs a little bit more, but I handle enough raw meat, so I don't feel like dealing with salmon. Plus, cooking salmon from a raw state in your kitchen in an apartment, sometimes it can leave an odor. I don't notice it as much when I cook cod or mahi-mahi or the shrimp, but I definitely don't want fish smell. But it is a hot one today in Arizona. I think it's 112. We are in I think there's an extreme heat warning, and it feels like it. It's like breezy too, so the heat just blows in your face when you're outside. The heat doesn't bother me. I do notice I am more affected by it than I was when I moved here. Like I can definitely feel it depletes me a bit more. I did increase my magnesium today specifically. I took an extra 300 milligrams, so that'll be 1,100 total for the day. And then I'll probably have an extra serving of my electrolyte powder too, just to make sure I'm set up for training legs tomorrow. But I'm feeling it. You know, I think this is about par for the course when you're prepping, especially as you're near that 4-week out mark. You can have a good wave of energy, and then, you know, it just feels like your feet get taken out from under you. So a lot of talking today between training a client, talking to people at the gym, vlogging. Got some client updates to still do, but I do loom video responses there too. So a lot of social for me today, which, believe it or not, does take a lot out of me. So we are going to smash this meal. Nothing else going for the day. My goal is to get into bed as early as possible tonight. Really set myself up to have a good night of sleep, get ahead on fat loss for the week, and also be ready to go for legs in the morning. We are at Muscle Factory tomorrow, so I'll check back in with some of the other meals, but not a lot going for me the rest of today. Some work. Gonna hit up Fit Lab again to, like I said, cold plunge sauna. I've noticed those two really help my sleep too, on days I get them in, especially the sauna. So we're gonna make sure we get at least 30 minutes of sauna and at least 1 4-minute cold plunge in. I might do 2 rounds of it. We'll see. If anything, the cold will just feel good because of the heat. So that's all that's left for today. Try to get into bed early. Did my laundry this morning, so I'll be sleeping in fresh sheets. Always a win, always a good vibe. So gonna pound this meal and then get to working. Hello guys, last meal time. I did end up taking a little bit of a nap unexpectedly, so getting to bed later than I wanted to, but I got some good sleep. It was a deep nap, so I guess it all evens out in the end. Here's our meal. We have 10 ounces wild caught salmon, some pineapple, some blueberries, some night supplements that I take. Slumber by Leviathan is my sleep supplement. I don't take it every night, but I do want to get some deep sleep tonight, so that's in play. And then again, I don't take this every single night either. I do take it almost daily in some way or another. Visure stress support supplement, got a full profile there. I took 8 caps of that, which is a full serving. So
we will be sleeping. I already can feel the visor kicking in, evening me out, wind down time, and hopefully some deep REM sleep with some vivid dreams tonight. So pretty productive off day. I did hit a bit of a wall in the afternoon, which is to be expected, but I do feel good about going into leg day tomorrow. Not too many of these left, you know, leg day wise before the first show. So I'm just trying to maximize them performance wise as much as I can. I have a call with Danny in the morning. We'll kind of go over things training wise, get her feedback on how I should go about approaching my training. Like I said, I might have said it in another video. I say like I said a lot as if I've said it on YouTube. I might have said it on Instagram. So at some point I've said it if I say like I've said. But Danny is like a consultant to me for my training. She programs all my mobility work. She's been a godsend during this prep. Completely changed the game for me. I would not be in the place I am without her. I've had to do a lot of work checking my ego and, you know, implementing the things she's put in, but just to have that guidance has been a game changer because I've touched on it. Previous preps, you know, the body just injuries accumulate, and then there's fear of getting further injured, so I have to change up my training, and I haven't trained scared once this prep. It's been solid. So off days, I usually notice my weight is up a bit going into bed. I check my weight morning and night every day. I have a tracker that I log. Dom and I have, or Dom has access to it too. So really looking at the trends, especially with me, the scale it's all over the place. It trends down over time, but it's not linear. So I woke up at 242.8. I'm guessing I'll probably go to bed around 249, maybe even 250. I do put on a bit more weight on my off days. We'll see if a deep night's sleep gives me a big drop. I haven't been waking up consistently to pee in the middle of the night yet. Some nights I do, but I'm pretty good about tapering my water intake towards bed, so I limit that as much as possible. But we'll see. It's all feedback at the end of the day. You know, even if I do go to bed heavier, and I'm sure I'll wake up heavier tomorrow than I woke up today. It's a leg day. That's a lot of work, a lot of output. Training alone, I'm just always moving. I'm walking around a lot between sets. That's just how I train. But I'm especially cognizant of my movement right now in prep. I'm trying to just stay moving. And even throughout the day, I'm just trying to stay moving as much as I can. You know, I have my 40 minutes that I walk directly, but the goal is just constant movement. That's fat loss 101, really. It's just a energy balance. So we will get this meal down, do the pre-bed routine with my teeth care and all that fun stuff, and then sweet dreams. So comment down below, what other things can I show you. I'm going to be vlogging at least a couple times a week moving forward. The editing part's the part that takes me the longest. I am getting better at it. Like I said, it's a skill I wanted to try to learn on my own, but it just takes time, and you know, time is a valuable commodity, and I don't always have time to edit right now, especially when I have to manage my bandwidth and my brain function, make sure I'm showing up for my clients and all the posing practice and appointments and all that. So but 2 videos a week is the plan as of today. 4 weeks and 5 days out from the first show. Thursday coming up will be 7 weeks out from North American, so it's coming. August will be a very, you know, busy month. 2 shows. feel good, feel confident. I'm just focused on controlling the things that are in my control. That's all you can do in bodybuilding. So, whoever shows up is who shows up. But at the end of the day, we don't have control over that. They have to get to the show and, go through all the same steps I do. So I'm just focused on what do I have control over every hour of every day, and focusing on that and not trying to think too far ahead. So appreciate the support, guys, both here and on Instagram. It means a lot. Truly do enjoy sharing the process. Normally I close off a bit in prep, and I don't share a ton, but this prep I've tried to show more and tried to provide value where I can if I think I can be helpful. I don't flood my platforms with my physique a ton, because it's just not my personality, and I don't have a problem if that is yours. I just I don't see a ton of value in doing that. If anything, it gives me unnecessary ego validation, to get a bunch of likes and views and comments. And well, again, I appreciate it. It doesn't do anything. So I try to share tidbits of the process and, little things that I've picked up along the way. And that's the whole purpose of this vlogging, is just to show you that, all this bodybuilding stuff is not really that glamorous. I mean, you see everything throughout my days. It's not exciting, but I love the process. And, somebody asked me today, actually, a client that I trained, why do I bodybuild? And I really had to go into it to explain that I do all of this off season and prep because I just love the process of this life. Even once competing's removed, I'll still live the bodybuilding lifestyle. It may adapt to however I'm living and whatever goal I'm pursuing business-wise or whatever, but I will always live with this discipline because one, I enjoy it. Two, I like who it makes me and who it allows me to be for other people. And three, I think it's such a part of me that I couldn't, even if I wanted to not live this way, I don't think at this point I'm capable of it because it's all I know. I've grown up this way at this point. I became a man as a bodybuilder. So a lot of reflection starting to set in. That's the stuff too that I want to share, is because prep is such a reflective period where I really, these thoughts become more superficial in my brain. So I'm gonna eat this meal. I'm gonna go to bed. You guys take care. Keep killing it. Keep training hard wherever you're at. Till next time, we're out of here.